love to hear, have you tell us just about growing up in Nebraska and Lincoln and how you sort of got pointed towards musical theater.
Yeah. So I moved to Nebraska when I was in seventh grade, and I
Oh,
went to Norris High School, um, uh, where I didn't really have a whole lot of friends, but I joined choir, and so my vocal director, Wes Hansmeyer, was like a really awesome, pivotal person in my like introduction into the arts, which is really cool.
uh-huh.
I believe that when I moved in seventh grade, they were actually doing Fiddler on the Roof at the high school. And so I think that was the first
Okay.
show that I ever saw at the high school. So Wes Hansmeyer and Jill Elswick, they were in charge of that. And so I like really specifically remember seeing it and going like, hey, I think I want to do that. And so I did that in high school, and I was in as many of the shows as I could possibly be in. And then I went to college in Iowa
Hmm.
at a little college called Simpson College.
Hmm.
And then from there, I kind of worked at a couple of just different like regional theaters. So I went to like Kansas City. I worked in South Dakota for a while. I worked in Kearney, Nebraska at the Crane River Theater. I worked in California in like the San Luis Obispo area. So it's really cool to be back here right now.
Hmm.
And then I moved to New York and auditioned for Fiddler kind of on a whim. I went to their open call, and I went through 4 rounds of callbacks and through the process, and ultimately got the job, which is really awesome.
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
and then in 2020, we unfortunately got shut down because of COVID. Um, but we're back and we're better than ever, and we're so happy to be here. And I'm thrilled that we're coming to Omaha this year.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get back? Do you have family and friends lined up to visit with, or do you have time for that?
We should have. I should have time during the day to visit with everyone. So actually, the week that we're in Omaha, that Friday is my birthday, which is really exciting. So I think we're planning to do a few things here and there throughout the week.
Yeah, that's a great way to spend your birthday.
Yeah.
Um, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about you said mentioned you actually answered this a little bit because I was going to ask who your influences were, who the people were that really motivated you and let you know that you really do have the skill and the talent and the hardworking nature that it's going to take to succeed in this business. How did what you did in high school and college give you that confidence, and who helped get you there?
Yeah, so like I said, Wes Hansmeyer and Jill Elswick and Kelly Millington also. So she was my speech coach, and then Wes Hansmeyer and Jill Elswick ran the musicals. They were just like always really wonderful and supportive, and they taught me a lot about obviously like the basics and gave me this like spark, and I just really wanted to pursue this art further.
Hmm.
And so then when I went to college, I would say that like my teachers there, Jennifer Nostrala, Ann Wolt, and Bruce Brown, those are probably the people, and Bernard McDonald, those are the people that I probably worked closest with.
Hmm.
They really gave me like the technique and the skills to like really give me the tools to like bring into an audition and prove that like, hey, I can handle this. Like, put me in, coach, or give me a role in this cast. But I'd say like even before that, my grandmother was like always really musical. She played the piano. She was always involved in theater. Um, she told me that one of the first things that she ever did like out of high school was a community theater like cabaret, and where she played Golda and she sang like Sunrise Sunset and Do You Love Me and things like that. So that's really cool too.
Oh, wow. Is your grandmother still alive? Is she
She
seeing this
is.
happen? Where does she live now?
She lives in Lincoln. So she should hopefully be coming to the show, which is really exciting.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful.
Hmm. Yeah.
Have you always been a singer then?
I just really since moving to Nebraska in seventh and eighth grade, like and being in choir, I really didn't think too much of singing. I didn't really think that I had any talent to give, and so being given the opportunities that I was given, I think that it just kind of like put a little fire under my butt, like, hey, you could do this if you wanted to.
Oh, what a great story. Tell us what it's like to be touring and living in New York. How does that differ from what you grew up with?
Well, I'd say it's very different. You get to see lots of different people, which is really fun. I like haven't lived in New York for too long. Like I was in New York for about 6 months before booking Fiddler. And right now I would say my stuff lives in New York. It's in a storage unit. Um, but I would say that like my favorite part of touring is like seeing all these different like types of people and cultures that just exist within the United States, that it feels like just right in my backyard. Like there's mountains and there's rivers and lakes and oceans, and there's so much to see and so many people to meet. And that's like a really awesome part of my job that I really wasn't expecting to like as much as I do, but it's probably one of my favorite parts.
A pretty incredible country. How has your life changed in the last 5 years?
Oh, in the last 5 years, well, let's see. I obviously like this is a dream come true. Bless you.
I'm sorry.
This is a dream. No, no, this is a dream come true, and I feel that I in the last 5 years I've gained the confidence to like really make this my career and my life, and um, I hope that once I'm done with this tour, I'll go back to New York or I guess wherever the job takes me, really, and continue to pursue the arts, which I think are really important.
Dara.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Oh, okay. Remind me, is this your first like touring, like Broadway touring show?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Can you talk a little bit about your role in this production?
hmm So I play a character called Rivka. She's kind of she's in the ensemble, and she has like a little solo in this song called "The Rumor," where we're kind of just gossiping amongst ourselves. It's really awesome to be a part of an ensemble like this because the show centers around community and the traditions and like how we interact with each other. So I've made like some really awesome friends within the cast just because of like the nature of the show, which is really cool. And then I also understudy quite a few tracks. So I understudy Fruma Sarah, who's the like this witch lady who comes in this dream to our main character Tevya. I understudy Hodel, who's the second oldest daughter, Seidel, who's the oldest daughter, and Golda, who's the matriarch of the family.
Wow. So what would you say are sort of the perks of being able to do that and then maybe like some of the challenges?
So I think like the perks of being an understudy is you kind of like get to see things from a different perspective, and you get to like I watch a lot of the scenes backstage at least once a week just to like keep it fresh in my mind or like whatever. It's also nice because if you can just kind of quote the show, which maybe is annoying to some people actually, so maybe that's not a perk, maybe that's a bad thing. And then I would say some of the challenges are definitely like keeping everything straight, and if you ever go on like I think the biggest challenge of going on for as an understudy is like making sure that you are keeping the integrity of the show and not affecting those around you too much. You should be like a seamless, like just like plopping into the middle of the show, and no one should really know that you're going on as an understudy.
So how do you like prepare? Do you have like a ritual or is there something, a process that you go through to prepare yourself?
Yeah, so our director Bart Scher and his assistant Sarah Ketter, they created this master book, which has like any question that you could ever have, like, oh, why do I cross on this point? And they go, well, actually, it's because this and this and this, and they have however much that you could possibly wonder about a certain character. So I like to like read those notes before going on. We also have several understudy rehearsals, which is cool. So we get to like have it on our feet before we actually do it in front of an audience, if that ever happens. So there's lots of different like ways that I keep things fresh and keep things ready to go if the time ever arises.
Why do you think that Fiddler, the story of Fiddler, is so important right now? I mean, what is the message for people today? Because it's a musical that's been around, like you said, you saw it when you were a kid. It's been around for 60 years, and but it seems so timeless. And how do you see that being impactful
Well,
now?
yeah, I think that especially like in the midst of a global pandemic, a lot of people have needed to like come together as a community, and it's so basically within the plot of the story, like Tevye, our main character, is presented with these challenges that like challenge his beliefs and challenge his traditions. And I think that especially right now, where we all have differing beliefs and opinions, and lots of things are influencing us around so many topics, it's really important to take a leaf from Tevye's book, and he listens to his daughters. His first daughter comes to him and is like, "Hey, I want to marry this poor tailor." And he's like, "No, you're not allowed to do that. You need to marry someone rich." And she goes, "But please just listen to me." And he says, "Okay, well, okay." And so just learning to like listen to each other, and understand and respect other people, I think is really important.
That's really that's really good. What message do you have for other Midwestern kids who are dreaming big? Because we do a lot of work with. Uh, we have the Nebraska High School Theater Academy here.
Mhm.
Do a lot of work with those kids. So, what message would you have for them about staying focused and dreaming big?
Well, I definitely say never stop dreaming, because there's always something around the corner. Like you can have to get like, I think what's the statistics? It's like 10 no's for every yes or something like that. So you really just like, you have to be your own biggest fan. And so just really believe in yourself, and do what is best for you, and really believe that you can do it, because you can. Look, I'm here. I didn't think I would be here, but here I am.